short introduction of Mayur Choudhary.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv. Please confirm if I am clearly audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible and visible. Thank you so much. You may carry on.
Thank you. Thank you. I am Ankur Shrivastava from School of Management, Pimpri Chinchwad University, Pune. I welcome all the participants. I am greatly thankful to Mr. Mayur Choudhary for giving us his precious time. I welcome all the participants to this webinar on Business Success Mantra, Strategic Alignment to Human Behavior. Let me introduce Mr. Rajiv Choudhary. He is a distinguished mechanical engineer and product designer, currently specializing in enhancing the in-cabin experience for a leading international automotive brand. With a robust background in driving multiple innovation programs, Mr. Mayur is at the forefront of developing future technologies in the automotive sector. He possesses specialized skill in human factors and human behavior, enabling him to create user-centric designs that improve comfort and usability. Mr. Mayur holds a master degree from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, that is IISc, we know, Bangalore, where he honed his skills and knowledge, laying a solid foundation for his illustrious career in engineering and design. With this introduction, I request Mr. Mayur Choudhary to please take on the webinar. Welcome, Mr. Mayur.
Thank you so much, Ankur ji. Over to Mr. Mayur Choudhary. I'll just share the screen on his behalf, his presentation, and then we'll carry on. Thank you so much. Just allow me a second.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for such a good introduction. So it is slightly different. It feels slightly different to hear about yourself. And first of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk about something which is an intersection between business and the design. Not design entirely, but the user research, which also kind of comes from the science of psychology and the sociology, which is kind of talking about the how any individual or group of people will behave. I hope I'm audible to everybody.
Yeah, Mayur, you are very much audible and visible. You can carry on, please.
Yeah. So why this particular topic? Because I've been kind of reading and listening to multiple news where we kind of are. So India as a startup ecosystem, we have been kind of not being able to produce successful startups in terms of revenue, in terms of product acceptance or the whatever service acceptance in the market. And one of the key reasons behind this was startups are creating something which is not required in the, not required at all. And why is it so? I mean, so they must have been going through a lot of discussions. They must have been going through a lot of, studies, different studies, which kind of let them take certain decisions, which are, kind of guaranteeing them a certain success. But again, there are the percentage of failure in the startups, or even many of the business decisions taken by business giants also, is not kind of aligned with, or rather, they're not welcomed by the market, by the users, by the overall, so overall society. So that's why this particular topic, and I'm going to kind of talk you through a lot of different areas. There is a lot to talk about it. There are certain slides also, which is, they can be, individual courses of 6 months, uh, like conducting research and all. So, but we'll try to, be precise as much as possible. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah. So overall, we'll talk about the introductions, my introduction, my company's introduction. You know, then we'll talk about the overall design process. So the starting point for us can be the, how the design process is, and how we see it as versus how it actually should be, or rather how a successful design process looks like. Then we'll go into how to research. There are multiple factors to it. Then we'll go into very classic you know uh, debate, I would say, or so many times I also kind of face these situations where there is a conflict between business goal and the user goal. How we can go about it, and the overall structural deviation for the overall strategy for the business we look at. And actually, yeah, I cannot see the slide, sorry. Yeah, can go to the next one. I'm not being able to see if the slide is changed, sorry.
Yeah, just give me a second. I think there was a slight, internet.
Okay.
Just give me a
So
second.
meanwhile, I'll just try to fill in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is it visible now?
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So about me, I come from a engineering background. I pursued my master's in product design from ISC. And the entire goal was to even go to mechanical engineering or to go to product design, is to create something with your own hands, get your hands dirty, basically. And that I could not do much in mechanical engineering, because I end up finding out that, it is more about the paper, on paper designs, and not being able to do much on with machines and all. By the way, I can do welding very well, by the way. So I learned that by practice, in engineering as well as in the product design. So that was the entire thought and entire uh, my interest towards the product design and the innovation. I want to specially talk about the Airbus Air Innovation Challenge, which I participated in 2018, and I got a invite also to attend a 7 days, 5 days workshop here in UK. Uh, so at that time, so this was a kind of a summers of 2018. At that time, they kind of published a one problem statement saying that we want to see how the future of aerospace looks like. And I kind of checked the overall timeline, and I had only 48 hours to do so. So what I did was, I first of all went to the different relevant stakeholders. The beauty of IISc is you can definitely see a lot of different departments, and quickly could go to the Department of Aerospace and could speak with some of the professors and some of the students. And I created my submission. I submitted, and fortunately, I got selected there. Uh, why I'm referring to this is, there is a immense importance of speaking to relevant people for whatever you are creating. Uh, although it is just a submission for a competition. I come from, so I'm currently working in Tata Elxsi, which is a global. So I'll talk about Tata Elxsi more, but yeah. So I've been also teaching design, uh, specialty in the digital design domain, which is user interface, user experience design. Yeah, we can go next. So about Tata Elxsi, it is a global design and technology company. It has been doing well in past 5 years. If anybody is interested in investing, yeah, so that's the numbers. So Tata Elxsi works majorly in the four areas. One is the broadcast and media. Second is definitely automotive, which I come from. The communications and the healthcare. The healthcare is more, based in Pune. Automotive based in Pune as well as Bangalore. Broadcast and media is mostly based in Mumbai and Bangalore again. And communications is in Pune as well as Bangalore. So this is a very high level thing, but what we have been actively also working in the artificial intelligence technologies like augmented reality. I've been driving certain programs for multiple OEMs. So it's not just limited to this kind of a very oversimplified way of talking about this, but yeah, this pretty much sums up what we do. Yeah, we can go next. So by the way, Tata Elxsi is kind of a very unique or a only company which works in automotive. Creates car designs, as well as they have got the uh, national award for filmmaking as well, because some of our colleagues from the VFX and all, so they could do a lot of good work for a lot of different movies like Bahubali. So that's a very vast portfolio Tata Elxsi has. Now coming to the topic which we have today is how we kind of make sure that uh, whatever business or the whatever venture we have started or we are about to start, how to make it sure how to make sure that it kind of gets a success which we are expecting. So this is a usual design thinking process, and so the image kind of gives it away. But what I want to specifically mention about is it's not linear. Okay, so there are so many interconnections in between, but usually it goes like, guys, you understand the problem, then it definition of the problem, then you go on editing and prototyping, create some prototype in it, and then kind of test. But not necessarily this goes, and there are other challenges as well. Many a times lack of resources also come in, where you cannot do full-fledged empathizing, which is a research activity, or there are limitations, or there is a resource like time is most of the times time is the resource which we get the crunch, and we want to take the product or a service as soon as possible out in the market. And how do we do that? So there are multiple ways to do this, but yeah, so the point I want to make it here is ultimately the overall risk of uh, you know going any product or service, what do you say, non-successful. So that risk can be reduced by understanding few of the questions which are really critical. One is, will this make sense to users? Whoever is going to be your user, you know, will they accept it, or does it really fits in their user story? And will this get a good market? So ultimately, of course, if user accepts it, ultimately the market appreciations will be automatically happening. But how do you kind of get these answers, and how to make sure we keep getting these answers across the overall design process? Sorry. So that's a very important question to ask, and multiple times in the overall process we kind of assume a lot of things, and assumptions are helpful to get the innovation going very quickly and with a lot of pace, I would say. But
what if the assumptions go wrong? Whatever the problem statement you started with, or in the problem statement also, you may have a lot of assumptions. So what if that particular or multiple parts of that particular problem statement goes wrong? So that is where, some aspects of the human behavior may help the businesses and the uh, you know uh, startups, or whatever small big businesses, and whatever decisions they want to take for their existing business strategy or the upcoming business strategy as well. So next slide. So I don't know how many. So definitely, most of you must have seen these Mickey Mouse cartoons. It's very famous from legendary Walt Disney from US. So this very specific what do you say, short film kind of thing, where Mickey Mouse becomes a magician, and he was alone in that particular castle or whatever area he was living, and he was having a lot of work to do, and he did not understand how to kind of manage that particular work. So being a magician, what he does is, he kind of puts magic on these brooms, and these brooms will kind of start doing work for him. Excellent idea, excellent innovation, and fantastic solution for the problem which he was having. But ultimately, it ends up kind of killing or beating these brooms with because so many situations come up where the assumptions and the things which he did not or could not predict, and those end up in kind of a very disastrous situations for him. So with a lot of stories around, not necessarily from the business, but from any such examples, we can definitely see that, hey, nobody could see that coming, and so basically the point I want to make is, so how it starts, or how we want to make it happen, and how it ends up being in the kind of disaster. Yeah, we can. Next slide, yes. So it will be really helpful if we understand the mental models of the users. Now, what is a mental model? So I want to describe this with one example, or a few examples, if I. So a very simple question about, let us say that after today's session, after uh, your work at the university, is over, how you're planning to go home, right? So there are different ways one can go. Some people can take a public transport, which is probably is not really accessible, because I have been to the university, so I know that you probably, so to be really accessible to the public transport, you definitely need to at least go till the gate at front, right? Or if that particular university, I'm just assuming that there is a university bus which kind of goes from the university to different parts of the city. Let us say that I miss that bus. What happens? Then I'll have to kind of take a walk all the way to the gate. And if I get something, very high, less likely, because that road is not that much of having that much of frequency, I may have to go all the way to the highway and take up some public transport from there. It can be some shared services, it can be some bus if you get lucky, and so on and so forth. So definitely there are some of you will take this particular route to go home. Okay. Some of you will will be driving home back. Either it is your car, either it is your I'm just assuming it can be a bicycle, it can be a bike for many of you. You just go in the parking, start your vehicle, and just go home. That is one of the ways it can be done. Some of you do not own a car or do not know how to drive. There can be many possibilities, but necessarily in that case, you'll be taking a Uber or Ola kind of a services where you're just kind of push into your apps and uh, ask for a cab, and cab will come to pick you probably inside the university or the probably um, at the gates itself, and you'll walk till there and you'll kind of are on board. So if you see, even the task is same to go home, the ways of doing it or thinking about it is so different. And not to so want to mention about it that not necessarily these are the only ways. Some people can kind of just hop on to one of the friends bike or the car and they can simply go home. And there are so many other situations also. Some people can walk also, because I'm assuming there can be some people who just live next to the university or inside the university also. So yeah, so there are so many ways to just do one thing, to do one thing. So how we can create a one single user journey, which is the mental model. So if the user journey, which how we expect a user to behave, or how we how we think that user will do things in that particular sequence or in that particular preference, and that if that particular user journey is close to mental model, which necessarily talks about how people think, or what will be the preferences of people, then it will be a very close to the users. We'll talk about that more, but yeah, I want to go to the next slide for now. So again, this is a very good example I found about the mental model. So out of I hope you all can see the picture. So out of these, just try and pick one odd out. Whatever out of this four you think that does not fit in the group, just take it out. Yeah. So there are multiple ways I think you might have processed this. One way to do it is there is a sailboat, there is a aeroplane, there is a helicopter, and there is a hot air balloon. So out of these, I think sailboat also goes into the water, and the remaining three go into, I mean, they necessarily are in the air when they're functioning. So yeah, the odd thing out is the sailboat. But there is another way to do it also, probably. Aeroplane seems to be like just a black and white image, and sailboat, helicopter, and the air balloon are colored ones. So in that aspect, the jet, plane is odd one out. Okay, and what else? So there can be multiple ways to kind of see the only thing, which you may not be able to understand just if you keep things to your own opinions only. As a person who is driving business or who is driving a startup, so it is very important to definitely be very important to be honest to your guts and feelings, but it's equally important, I would say, to kind of think about these different mental models and the how users will give insight to. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah. So now, out of all these different ways of doing things, who ultimately is your user? So that's a very important question, because um, it has been a very good practice to have a kind of a personification uh, to who is going to be user. And that can be one or multiple persons altogether, multiple personas altogether to kind of address. So let us talk about one example, like watching a movie. So there are multiple users or the user groups which are still relevant, which will be relevant, I would say. One way to see this as, people who want to kind of just want to go to movie alone. Some people definitely just for the fun of watching movie, they can go alone. There are some couples who want to go with their partners. That is one type of people, or one type of persona. The one type of persona is who want to take their kids to movie theaters. Now the thing is, here things get complicated. Uh, so if I want to take my daughter to a movie, I'll definitely ask her which movie she wants to watch. And probably that is something I definitely would not prefer to watch. But I still, being a guardian, I'll have to take her and I'll have to sit with her to watch the movie. So there can be multiple scenarios, and as you can see there, the characters kept on uh, kept on changing, with different scenarios and journeys. So it's very important to understand what is your user and hear more about what they're saying. Yeah, we can go next. So why to actually have that mental models in place? One is the first. There are three C's to this. One is the clarity for your approach, confidence in your approach, and the continuity in your approach. Clarity, because you're not, so the second part of this, of course, is the intuition versus fact, but I want to borrow that particular some part of it to talk about the clarity. Because as we said that, assumptions are really important to start with the innovation, because you cannot have the 100% clarity to start with. You'll definitely have some assumptions, but identifying and clearing those assumptions are really, really important. But yeah, so with the mental models, using the research part we'll talk about in some time. But it will end up in kind of telling you the mental model of your user or user groups, and you will have the clarity that, if we are going right, if the strategy is aligned, if the mental models are aligned with our user journeys, or however we think the users will behave. So that is one first point. Second point is the confidence, because till the time it was just your gut feeling that, yeah, this will work and this will not work. But ultimately, you can definitely say factually that, yes, this is something is proven. This is something is, at least, I mean, not all the prospective users have kind of said it or used it or tested it, but I have some pointer or the probe into that, yeah, definitely what we are doing is in the right direction. And the overall continuity, because even if I'm going to change the overall strategy, that will be in continuation and in adherence to what your user is thinking. And that also kind of gives us another perspective to this. So does it have, totally have to be, 100% clarity, which is in my whatever little experience, uh, there is no 100% clarity of doing anything. So you will have to have some, assumptions on the go. Assumptions will come with the intuition, with discussions. Your own gut will say something, and factually you can know a few things. But on the, as you go ahead, uh, selling out that particular service or product, you definitely want to know about some facts about what your user is looking for. And that's again a very you know recent, I would say. I don't know if it is have been further long. So there is a debate, who is artist and who is designer, what is art and what is design. So whatever is the intuition based, or you don't have to be kind of constraining yourself in any of the requirements, or you don't want to achieve anything by art. You just have to, it's just expression. Yeah. So on the other side, designer is somebody who wants to talk about the application, the usability. Designer wants to solve something, and both are important. So that particular spectrum, so every solution lies on some spectrum of more artistic or more design oriented or a factual level. Yeah, we can go on. So speaking a lot about the importance of being the user centric. That's why these methods are called user centered design, by the way. Because we want to keep the user at the center of these solutions which we are creating. Sorry for the image quality. I've taken from one of the references. And also, I think, yeah, I'll kind of share this reference with you because I think I forgot to mention it here. I'm so sorry. So now talking about a lot of research, lot about the mental model. So how we can actually understand our users' mental model or their preferences is the research, the user research. Now there are so many types of user research, and with the internet connectivity all across the globe, so there are kind of again divided into remote uh, user research techniques and the in person, where you kind of talk to the user in person as a face to face. And so over the internet, you also can conduct a lot of different surveys, different research methods. Survey is one of them, by the way. Whatever Google Forms we kind of fill in, that is one of the types of the user research, or rather can be used as a user research. So there is one way to do it is, if you want to take opinions or desires or likes, you can go for survey, or and that definitely will be taking out for the market analysis and the advertising campaigns, and of course for the visual design and all. So there are multiple ways you can do it. This is a very heavy slide, I would say, because the single slide can have a kind of a 6 months course because so many things to talk about, but I'll try to just keep to the point. What I want to talk about is there are so many perspectives. Do you want to have opinions? Do you want to have kind of do you want to evaluate what exactly you have done, or it is just kind of a very early stage thing and you want to check what exactly. So this is I think this is a requirement, but what is the exact requirement? So that can be one of the aspects to do that. So more or less, I kind of have put a line to it, like from the absolutely early stage innovation to the kind of end stage innovation where we have something in with you and you want to check it. So in early stages, you can definitely go for the interviews, surveys, and focus groups. Interviews where you kind of get in touch with the actual users or your prospective user, which you think are the users. So you kind of go there and kind of ask open-ended questions, kind of understanding their processes and ultimately understanding their mental models. Survey is one of the quantitative methods where you kind of want to talk about or rather understand about the preferences. You know, if you think there are four solutions to this, which one is popular or can get popular? Focus groups is kind of a workshop where you kind of invite multiple similar users to a kind of a confined space like a conference room, and try to ask or kind of initiate some discussions. This is something is currently being happening here with the current organization I'm working in. uh, it kind of helps understand what exactly they think, and helps designers and engineers and innovators to align themselves to what they think and how things are processed. There are paper testing which are kind of in between. You started with the problem statement, but you are kind of going towards creating something. So in between somewhere, you can have some card sorting, paper testing. So card sorting is a very specific user testing method uh, for the logical grouping. So as I said, it's very vast in itself. So if we get a chance, we'll definitely conduct a very special sequence of workshops or something to kind of understand all these. Paper testing is just kind of creating some paper prototype of whatever, let us say, website, and kind of give it to uh, not much of a details are there, but just kind of a rough diagram or something, and given to the users to make sense out of it and understand what they think about it. And to the end part of the overall innovation, which where you have something in place, and um, the usability testing is yes. So with that, you kind of ask the users, different users, sorry, to use a different to use a product basically, and you want to understand if some basic uh, functions, if they can achieve with that. A/B testing is one of the very you know technology driven, because it's a very interesting how it works. So A/B testing is you kind of create two designs. There is one existing design, let us say, and you created another design, which is totally different, I would say. And it really is possible with the digital platforms, especially with the websites. And let us say that with on your website there are 1,000 visitors every day. So in A/B testing, I'll be showing existing design to 500 of them, and we'll be showing the second design which we created newly to the 500 others. Now, what will happen is I can comparatively have a understanding saying that which was better in terms of achieving the you know whatever utility that website needs to achieve, and what was the efficiency, what was the bounce rate. So these are different jargons and from the digital design, but necessarily it means that which design was efficient. So with all these things, you can peek into the overall user behavior and the human behavior, how they think, how they process, how they want to use your systems, and preferably, align yourself into that particular um, direction. Yeah, we can go next. Yeah. So I have taken one example to talk more about it. Um, so we'll continue with the movie example. So if I ask you that, yeah, um, let's watch a movie tonight, or let us say this weekend. So there are multiple questions or multiple things which people will process, or we ourselves will process. The first one is, does that theater has parking? And So if we are going, so probably late evening, that it should have a good eating facility, because I myself I love food. So I probably will see that, if that has a good things to eat, it has a comfortable seating. Probably I'll not worry much if I'm going alone, but if I'm taking my family with me or my friends with me, I'll definitely think about it, and so on and so forth. So there are so many parameters to this, and this is something is kind of mapped, or this can be mapped when you talk with your user, understanding their human behavior, and structure something like this. Choose a theater, and these are the parameters too. These are the qualities of a good theater. Choose an easy theater, because being at Pimpri Chinchwad, I probably don't want to go to Viman Nagar to watch a movie. Yeah, it depends. If the movie is really great and I want to see it, I'll definitely go. But otherwise, it has to be one, convenient one. Probably I want to choose a smaller theater for multiple reasons. Probably I want to go with the big crowd with the energy, because the T20 World Cup is going on, and some of the theaters also the kind of live stream that particular match. And if any one of you have gone there, it is crazy environment. And probably you want to go for like 1,000 or 500 or 600. Hundreds of people are kind of cheering for our team, and that energy is different. So probably that is your criteria to go about it. Next slide. It's not just about movie, right? It is about choosing a time as well. So how long is the movie? We don't know. So according to that, we probably want to strategize. If I'm going to watch a movie on a Sunday, if it is a late evening, I should be able to sleep in time, so I get up and come to office in time, probably, or come to the university in time. So that particular screening time and the running time is also important. So this is a kind of a derivation or the findings from the user research, by the way. So it is not just a assumption, but this is taken from the actual interaction with the actual users. So apart from going to the movies, probably choosing time is also very necessary parameter. Again, to the movies part, I don't want to be late, because sometimes you cannot be late to the movie, because 15 or 20 minutes the trailers and everything will happen, but we'll just assume that that portion is kind of limited there. uh, if you're going with a large group, so then there is a large group logistics where to meet, and they get the tickets and groups, and even some. I want to also understand if there are group discounts for like people like four plus, so on and so forth, right? Let Next slide, please. Yeah. So it's a slightly older um, example, but yeah. So you can rent a film also. Those who are kind of slightly have seen some time, have been here on the earth around as in for some while. So we used to rent out CDs, DVDs, and even VCR cassettes back then. So I can probably choose that also. So nowadays we can relate to um, um, buying a film directly from. So you can pay extra amount and get a movie uh, for yourself, right? So in YouTube you can do that. In I think Amazon Prime also. So you get a choice to kind of purchase certain content. So let us talk about that, because let's say that in some scenarios I don't want to go to I don't want to go to the theater, but I want to watch a movie, right? So there can be multiple ways also, to watch a film on the projector, watch a film on the direct TV, which is similar to what the OTT we have is. And there is a concept called DVD extras also, which is it's a slightly added, you know, um, added, what do you say, footage of that particular movie, and having popcorn and everything. So this is something is the in continuation or the different scenarios of watching movie itself. Next, sorry, one second. Yeah. So if you think about it, so and if you are looking to kind of create a platform or related platform to watching a movie, there are so many avenues you can see. Let us talk about, let us say that I'm going to start a OTT platform. So there are so many strategical, uh, kind of takes I can take it from. Like definitely, all these will be. So if you can go to this slide number 12, where we are talking about, what if I want to watch a movie, how this particular theater will be defined, right? So these will be all the data points to kind of a movie watching scenario, right? Again, to the next slide, uh, all these will be the data points which we definitely, or any user will definitely want to look at in the overall product, right? The next slide. Now, here I want to mention about renting a film. Definitely, if many people are kind of interested in renting a film, I'll definitely try to create a business model and the design where different companies, studios can kind of come with a proposition saying that we want to create this exclusive content for your audience. And I want to mention very interesting part, which is the last column, which is a making a popcorn. So you can slightly think creative that, how making a popcorn can help a OTT, or how making a popcorn can help any website which is a movie watching part. Probably I can reach out to these different popcorn brands to kind of have a kind of a common advertisement, or kind of put my logo and my what do you say, advertisement, or some offers going on their packets themselves. So whoever is kind of eating popcorn, they will relate to, yeah. So it can also drive the other ways. Popcorn can make me suggest or kind of make me watch a movie. So that way also I can look at it. So this is how the mental models can guide or lead you into the different types of strategies, and not just the design or the overall proposition, but even the marketing and the other sections as well. The next one. So with all these, all these different activities which otherwise any user's mental model would want to do. So the strategy can be with, uh, logically grouping different activities, and having those channels uh, working for you as a overall business strategy. I want to take an example from here as well, saying that there is a, it is not just watching a movie, right? It's more than that, and I'm not seeing that particular approach. Some Bollywood movies definitely did, uh, like some of the action movies, but usually whenever there is a Hollywood movie of action movie of sorts, they'll not just limit to the only movie making and things like that. The business strategy is much beyond than that. They'll try to create. I just recently been to the Harry Potter studio here. Harry Potter is a book. Book became the movie. Movie became a kind of a sensation all across. Visiting these different studios and purchasing their small souvenirs, and multiple things. They can scarves and all, uh, wands and brooms and so many things. Uh, So this is how the overall business strategy would have been, because it's not just limited to book or a movie, but the identification with a movie also. That particular fandom kind of uh, went went on purchasing all these things. And I was kind of looking at some sales data from, I think, so Spider-Man movie or something. I don't recall the exact numbers, but the amount of business they could do with all these goodies sold and so many different things apart from the movie tickets, it was greater than the movie tickets. So that's a brilliant business strategy, by understanding that what people would want to do. I mean, what people will do to kind of identify with the film. Bollywood films also could do something like Krish, I guess, Krish movie. I think some of you might have seen that, but people wanted to identify that, and there were some small dolls and goodies and everything. And there were some masks also being sold. Very classic example is the Shaktiman t-shirts, which we which we used to get back then. We might have also kind of purchased few of these, but yeah. So this is what is about. So ultimately, that is how this is how you kind of uh, get a feedback from the human behavior to kind of have the overall business strategy. Business strategy itself takes a lot of definitions, a lot of specific things you want to mention, but I just want to give a clue that understanding the human behavior can be a really strong driving force uh, while creating or kind of deciding the further business strategy. Yes, next please. And the last one is, the one more kind of debate or discussion, like, things should be product focused or the solution focused or the company centric versus customer centric. So is it a business versus user, or is business for users? So uh, there are so many product centric companies who are successful. There are so many customer centric companies or who are also successful. So there is no clear answer to this yet. But on while kind of having the overall strategy in place, we can definitely check out the overall balance. If we are kind of do want to create a cult which kind of follows our product and service, or we want to create the product and services which want to follow the customer's needs. And yeah, so there is no direct answer to this, but yeah, so that particular balance is also needed. Ultimately, that will help you to fuel your business strategy in the end. I think that's all. That's what I think I wanted to mention about it. Was yeah. Any questions?
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Mayur. The floor is open to any specific questions related to this chosen subject. Anyone? All right. So, Mayur, one question from my side.
Yeah.
Basically, I think you pretty much summed it up, and it was very beautiful in terms of the three most important parameters on the mental model part, which was more about clarity, confidence, and continuity. I think,
Yeah.
and then of course this last slide when you talked about the product focused content and the solution focused content that companies need to look at. So I was just thinking that when you talk about strategy, it obviously it takes up many forms and shapes in different organizations. But
Yeah.
when you talk about this human behavior part, and are you being more focused here on the automotive side of things, or does it cut across all industries? This kind of a mental model way of thinking.
So Automotive itself, it is a very complex product itself, which comes with a lot of different users, and it's a very huge product. And the user-centric approach in cars is not just limited to the experience, but also the overall usability and utility. So what I'm trying to say is there is um, a larger involvement of user-centered practices in automotive, but it's not limited to that. I'll give you one example of when. So one of my student came with a solution saying that he wants to work with um, these different agencies which they process home loans and business loans. Uh, I mean, whoever has taken some kind of loan, they might have gone through direct banking systems, but it is really helpful if you go through some agencies, and the agencies have a certain way of doing it. Now, what happened was, agency had a existing platform which was created by some people together, and the agency themselves had some say in it. And agency had to really push their consultants to use this. They conducted month long trainings and everything, and it was a very difficult for agency to kind of make the use of the whatever digital web application they created to process the loans basically. And I had a chance to have a look at it, and it was clearly not as per the mental model of the what do you say, the consultants, and they kind of prefer using it or doing things offline instead of having a well invested, I mean, a lot of efforts were put, but just because it was not user centered, users here are being the consultants, it was not useful. And how much ever you training you do it, how much ever incentive and pressure even was given to the consultants, they were not using it ultimately. So not just automotive, but any industry, any problem, any solution you want to take up, you can definitely use it. I'll give you one more example of my. So when I was in Bangalore, I was just kind of studying the being familiar with overall product and innovation and all these different things. And in ISC, I could see one fellow on wheelchair every day. ISC is a huge campus, so he used to kind of start from the hostel to the department, and it was a slightly longer journey, and he used to kind of all sweaty, I mean, almost breathless kind of a situation. He used to try, do that every day. Okay. And on the primary understanding, what we think is that particular person needs a solution which kind of looks like a kind of a battery operated wheelchair on which he can sit on. He can simply do whatever the joystick and everything, and he can probably travel through whatever the journey he was making from the hostel to the department. One fine day, I decided to sit next to him for a coffee. And I asked him that, I see you every day and you kind of are struggling to get to the department. How do you manage it? I feel so sorry. There should be a solution, kind of a battery operated um, wheelchair. And he suggested not to do it. Okay, he suggested not to do it. Why? He said, since he was not being able to walk, he was not being able to exercise, and because of that he was gaining so much of weight. Okay, that's why he wanted to prefer a manual wheelchair so there can be some exercise. So the real problem, if he was facing that, he was not being able to exercise much because he cannot walk. So it's really important to understand mental models before you can solve anything for anybody, and it applies to every scenario out there. Yeah.
Great, great. I think that was a perfect example, Mayur. You summed it up so very, lucidly for all of us. On if I guess there are no further questions, and definitely this will roll out into the social media, and post that if there are any questions, I'll make it a point to kind of get across to you as we are
Yeah,
always in touch. So
yeah,
once again, on behalf of the School of Management, Mayur, and of course the larger, PCU, Pimpri Chinchwad University, I would like to thank you wholeheartedly for taking time out, especially from your busy schedules and being in the United Kingdom right now. I also understand you have a hard stop. So thank you so much once again. This was really a fantastic
thank you so much.
presentation. You talked about, almost every conceivable angle from the, user subject. So the more we delve into it, I'm sure a lot of new things we all will keep learning from time to time.
Yeah,
And definitely, if the students, pay some visit to these webinars, and also, listen to these kind of, topical subjects, I'm sure they'll be able to take away some gold nuggets, from this
yeah.
presentation. So thank you so much, Mayur. Wish you all the best, and looking forward to staying in touch. And thanks a lot to all my team members, to all the larger team members from PCU for taking time out to visit Mayur's presentation. Thanks a lot. You all take care. Good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.